change. So we are going to be asking people to create gatherings all over the world, and we're going to give them a little bit of guidance and some of the tools to be able to do that. Now, what's interesting, Agape, is that many people are moving into this mode of facilitating gatherings around the world. And many people are doing this with websites that are going to be coming out or already are out or already have been doing this. On the Great Gathering website, what we're going to be doing, and I'll list some things, we're going to give a voice to the indigenous, meaning they can send in their messages from anywhere in the world, and we will post it on the Great Gathering website. It will be their words, their message, their links to their websites possibly, their links to their requests for, assistance with, writing letters, letter campaigns for them on their behalf, anything along those lines. This is for them. We will also have an area for what I call the 13 intentions, which is the 13 intentions of what we need to pay attention to and what we need to create. So it will bring attention, as an example, to our food supply and how different technologies even could bring about a more productive way of creating food that's less destructive to our earth. And this is not Monsanto. And so we want to bring attention to specific areas of interest and problematic areas. And then by doing so, attempt to, in either a small or large way, bring about a very clear suggestion of what can be done to change the, quote, problem or issue area. And then we're going to ask people to act on all of these things. Now, this is not going to be about, Miriam Delicado sitting down writing 50,000 pages of information. This is a collaborative. So we're going to be asking people to write articles. Then they'll be submitted, we'll take a look at them, and then post them on the site. So there'll be the indigenous area, the 13 intentions that cover everything from food supply, pollution, education, health, all of these different areas. And then, of course, the subsections in all of those. We'll have an area where anyone from anywhere in the world can send in a message, and it'll be posted on what we call the Great Wall, which is making a statement that I am committed to the Great Gathering of Humanity, not to the Great Gathering website, but to the Great Gathering of Humanity. Then there will be a place for voices of the children, where the children will be able to submit their messages and wise words of wisdom. Because the children are very important, because they're watching us as adults in our childlike, attitudes, and they're concerned. They're looking at us with parent eyes saying, what are you doing to my earth? This is my earth. It's for me. What are you going to leave for me? So this is very important. And then the creation of these events all over. We'll have world meditations. We will also have an area where if you have an event, whether it is based, and I'm not talking about a free event, but if you have an event that is focused on the earth or humanity, and you would like for us to have it on the website, we will do that for you. And there's a very specific way in how I'm putting all of this information in a very simple, clear way. So if you live in North America, in the city of Seattle, within 3 minutes, you will be able to go on that website, sign up, and find people who want to create their own events or to meet up to create their own events for the Great Gathering. You'll be able to go there and find events in your particular area, in Seattle, Seattle, Washington, United States. Within minutes, you'll be able to find like-minded people and be communicating with them. You'll be able to begin creating a great gathering if you choose to in your area. You'll be able to post an event in your area on the Great Gathering website. So this is about a collaborative between myself and anyone who wants to come, anyone. And so I've also been working very hard in the last couple of years in making some very specific associations with particular people. Unfortunately, I've found that there are quite a few people that are not in alignment with the idea of not being in ego and not being in money or power. So that's become a bit of a challenge, but I've found equally just as many people who are not based in ego and are based in heart and humanity. So it gives me hope. And which is part of the reason, again, Agape, why we're having this, well, it's not really a conversation because I'm talking a lot.
That's okay.
But it's about the associations with things that, no matter what, between human to human, group to group, organization to organization, religion to religion, belief to belief, no one will agree with everything. It is an impossibility at this time. It is just simply not something that we are capable of doing right now because we still need to grow and expand as human beings in evolution. But what we can do is we can accept that we collectively are human beings, that we care about the earth, that we are doing our part in any way, shape, or form to bring about change and come together, with that foundation. And I think that's a great foundation to have, to respect, honor, acceptance, the ear, the listening, the ability to listen to other people. And on this Great Gathering website, we don't want it to be a big complaint session. We want to facilitate and give ideas to people of maybe the organization that they can support in order to facilitate the introduction of new technologies, for example. Let's say someone has a technology that they need funding for. Well, if someone's a millionaire out there, who knows? Maybe they'll see that, contact that person who has that new technology, and then boom, the world has a clean energy. Anything is possible. So we want to highlight that and give that opportunity, that moment, that space for those types of connections to take place. And so the Great Gathering is not just about creating events where people can just simply gather and have a conversation, but it's also about facilitating small movement and change in a positive, peaceful way that will assist in this transformation of the earth. And that is what the Great Gathering is about. And as far as I am concerned, every man, woman, child, and life form on this earth and around this earth is a part of the Great Gathering. And it is the gathering of our minds, our hearts, our souls, our beings, and of life. And if you can't connect to that, just connect to the fact that you need to recycle. Great. You'll still be making a difference.
That's really great, and I would like our listeners to notice that we're speaking with Miriam about a website that, again, it is just another and same as we as part of the Truebook team that we're working on a very similar project as Miriam, but she has been so great to actually agree to come here and to speak to us as people who are interested in a very similar project about what she's doing. And what I would like to point out is that I have contacted, and I'm not going to say names, I have contacted a few organizations that are saying that they're trying to do something like that, something of a global unity and gathering. And when I told them, so how about if we cooperate with each other? All that I heard were excuses, fear-based comments, and other things. And I was so delighted that after a few months of searching, I found Miriam and the project she and her people are working on that actually have been true in what they're saying, in saying that group you belong to, what we want to focus on is that we're human beings and we care for our planet, and that we need to start doing something, whatever that is, and change the way how we live. So I just would, openly would like to thank Miriam for that. And so Miriam, how do you see the future of humanity?
Well, I truly believe, and I said this to someone the other day, I said, the great thing about where we're at right now on the planet and as a species and as individuals is that I think that we have more choice right now than ever before in our past. And that what I know is, what I feel that I know in my being, partly because of my contacts with the ETs and partly because of my own self, is that this is not every single to the circle initially, okay? If you can't convince someone that we need to act, then don't try to convince them. There's no convincing that needs to happen. If they don't want to be involved, you have to stop the conversation and move on, because it's a distraction for the positive change that we're moving into. If you truly are working from the heart and you're not based in ego, you would be willing to work with anyone that comes to you and brings about, who's talking about this, even if you don't agree with everything that they're doing. Agape, we had, one lengthy conversation prior to this interview, and I liked what I heard from you, because I was hearing many of the things that I say to people, which is about non-ego, working together, finding that common ground, and really building a foundation. This is not about anything. The way that I see this coming together is that the people who are true are going to join their hands and hearts around the world. The people who are true, that are working from a place of compassion and love and focus and dedication, are going to come together in this world. The rest of these people are still not understanding that they can't demand being the center of attention. And I don't command that. I don't ask for that. Every opportunity that I'm given to speak, I'm grateful for it. Every opportunity that I have to be able to share, I'm grateful for it. We need to find the equality from human to human. And I truly do see this happening, because it's like the first wave that we talked about in already, where people come into life here on Earth and they begin to meditate and they begin to think and they begin to manifest this energy of connectedness between everything. And then, as I said, more and more souls incarnating into this time, being able to do this, is changing the reality in which we're living. That's part of it. It's only a part of it. If enough of us can make a unified and truly unified, meaning we don't have to agree on everything, but show our support of one another and really facilitate a positive action in some way, and if we can show that unity and physically show that unity, then those other people that are running around, will lift their heads to see what we're doing. And eventually they'll join. And that is where we're headed. There is not much time left for us to continue to dance around these subjects of what needs to change. I'm going to be the first person to say that. We do not have much time left. But what I find fascinating is that so many people in the last year just blasting out, creating world gatherings everywhere. Yeah. And the Great Gathering website, the greatgathering.org website, will have a place for each and every one of them. I will not judge. I will look at every event that goes on the site. If for some reason I would choose not to put it on, it would be because it was, you know, and I'm sorry, and I send a blessing out to all those people who I send a blessing to their hearts and to their souls, and